So the Switch 2 does in fact have games. I know that it's really popular for people to try to make this claim that the Switch 2 somehow doesn't have games. It actually has a lot of games, and I'm not counting Switch 1 backwards compatible games. I'm strictly counting Switch 2 only games. For a system that's only been around for a little over a year, it's actually got a very impressive lineup, and I really, really don't understand how people are going after the Switch 2 when the PlayStation 5 is a much more egregious offender. I genuinely think at this point the Switch 2 has more games to its name than the PS5 in terms of things that you can only play on the Switch, as well as games that are actually novel to play on the Switch as well. So I don't really understand how we got here. I totally understand if someone doesn't like Nintendo, and I totally understand why it's kind of an issue to excuse some of the business practices, and I don't, and I'm not. But I also own a Switch 2. I like it. There's games that I have on there that make me glad to own it. So I just want to be a little positive today. And I want to cover 5 games that actually make me very happy to own a Switch 2. And before we even get into this, I am not interested in talking about key cards. I don't really think they're as big of an issue as people are making them out to be, because we are going into a different era where there is no physical media whatsoever at all. Key cards are just fine. Okay, obviously, yes, I would prefer the whole game on cartridge. Who wouldn't? But as far as I am concerned, there is still something that can be borrowed, sold, or trade. So it's fine. Okay, it's fine, and I don't really want to have an argument about it. And I'm not going to make a video about it, and I'm not going to talk about it. So you're going to deal with it. All right. Number 5 is actually going to be a split, which is the Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth games. I am so happy that these are on Switch 2 because these are daunting games. And they are very difficult to find time to play, specifically Rebirth. Remake is a little smoother, I think, in terms of how fast it can be to play, but they are genuinely good games. And I know that the intellectual response in the last year or two has been, well, actually, the Final Fantasy VII Remake trilogy is stupid and does stupid things, and I don't like it. And I'm smarter than you for not liking it. That's fine. You don't have to like it. You can have your reasons for not liking it, and I'm sure there are reasons not to, but I also don't really think most of those reasons have anything to do with anything else other than I like the original better, which is fine. You're allowed to do that. But I also think you're discounting a lot of the work that goes into these games, a lot of the pro-consumer stuff that goes into these games. I know Rebirth has almost too much content, but it's giving you what you ask for. People consistently ask for more content in their games, so I don't really know what you want them to do. But it has good combat. It has a good, cool party system. All the party members feel good. Exploration is like pretty good. The story beats are still there. And honestly, compared to the original Final Fantasy VII, the pacing is really not that far off. You just don't remember it right because you probably played it with the 3x speed multiplier last time you played it, or you haven't played it in 30 years. Right? So replay the entire game in normal speed and then tell me if you still think that this is too long. And it might be, but I just would like to get a feeler on people from that because I don't really think it's fair. I think we have some of the most pro-consumer games that are coming out right now that they look great, they run great, they have cool stuff to them, they have good high-quality voice acting, good writing. I just don't really feel the need to hate on them, and I'm really glad that they're here on Switch 2 because they run better than they do on Steam Deck. Again, not opening a debate. This is what Digital Foundry says, okay? It's not my decision, so suck it up. All right, number 4. Those are my only 2 key cards on this list, by the way. Number 4 is Kirby Air Rider. Now, I love Kirby Air Riders, and I have no reverence for the original Air Ride. I am not a GameCube kid. I was never a GameCube kid. I never had a GameCube growing up. I don't have any nostalgia for that time period for anything other than Xbox and some PlayStation, right? So the fact that Air Riders grabbed me like it did is incredible. It's just incredible to say the least. I really did not think this game was going to suck me in as hard as it did. I knew I wanted it because it looked good. It was a Sakurai game, so of course it's going to be packed to the brim with content. But just the way that it feels like Smash Brothers, but with Kirby stuff, is so impressive. The multitude of ways they found the same gameplay system to work in multiple different game modes is impressive. I am a huge fan. I think the machines are such a cool concept. They're also unique. They all feel different. They all play different. All the characters add a lot to the game. The story is like just fine. Story's not anything special. But you know what? It works, and I like it. But yeah, Kirby Air Riders is definitely one of those games where if you're going to buy a Switch 2, you should really just have Kirby Air Riders. I genuinely think that it is a good pickup. Star Fox is my number 3 slot. Now, Star Fox, people are going to probably try to come at this with the remake of a remake thing. Yeah. Okay. But here's the thing. Unlike Halo Campaign Evolved, which is also a remake of a remake, Star Fox feels like they actually played the original game and they weren't trying to make a game because they hated the original. There's so much reverence for the original and for the type of story that it was telling, for the character that was present in it, for all of the weird vibes that it put out, and it all makes it through pretty unscathed here. The game looks great, it runs great, it plays great. Star Fox. It's fast, it's quick, easy to pick up, hard to master. There's a lot to it. The new challenge mode is a lot of fun. I really love this game. This is up for my Game of the Year contender because I just think it adds so much to the original Star Fox experience. And it's so different at the same time that you still get something from playing the original or you get something from playing Star Fox. So I think it's kind of interesting that this came out like a month before Halo Campaign Evolved, because I think Halo Campaign Evolved is the exact opposite of this, where this feels like it was made with love and care and they actually tried to add to the experience. Halo Campaign Evolved feels like it's such a backwards step. It's such a backwards walk in the way that only Halo Studios could do. So, I just think if you're going to pick up a remake of a game that came out 25 to 30 years ago and is a remake of a remake, I think Star Fox is your pick. I also think it sets up a very good system for sequels. So whatever the sequel is to this game, they already have everything running. They can probably get it out reasonably fast. I think that there's a lot more stories to tell with this version of Star Fox. And yes, I know that people are probably going to say something to the effect of it's the same game still. But here's the thing, man. The last time we got a new Star Fox game, it was Star Fox Command. And if you didn't play that game, then you don't know. You don't know how much worse it could be. I promise you don't. I will take this over Star Fox Command. And anyone who says that Star Fox Command clears this has not played it. My second game is Poptopia. I'm going to give you something straight. I'm not an Animal Crossing person. I'm not. I have tried and I've tried and I've tried. I've tried multiple times. My wife can attest to how many times I've truly tried to play and enjoy Animal Crossing, and something about it just doesn't click with my brain. I get bored and I bounce off. And I think it's because the main gameplay goal is get out of debt. It's an admirable goal. Dave Ramsey would be proud. Here's the thing. I live that life every day. So I'm not exactly looking for a game that simulates that. And as we've discussed earlier, I really have no reverence for anything from the GameCube or Wii era because I didn't have those consoles. So I think they're neat and I respect them, but I don't have a nostalgic attachment to them. So Animal Crossing just doesn't connect to me. Poptopia, though. Poptopia does, for a number of reasons. And if you're somebody who doesn't like Animal Crossing and you're thinking, will I like Poptopia? You will. Let me tell you why. Because odds are really good that you need more of a gameplay loop than just explore your island, try to drum up some money, rinse and repeat day after day. Poptopia feels so actionable. It feels like you actually have things to do. It feels like you have a goal that you're working towards, and it just matters more because you're building habitats for Pokemon, you're getting them back, you're still collecting them too because there is a Pokedex in the game. You get to see all these Pokemon, you get to see their personalities, you get to make them live together, see what they want, what makes them comfortable. You get to find new Pokemon in each biome, which is always exciting. You get to rebuild these biomes. So there's some Minecraft inspiration in there. And it just feels like it was made with a lot of reverence for Pokemon, which is always great. So this worked for me in multiple ways when Animal Crossing just did not. It did not catch me. I'm not interested in it. I'm not invested in it. But Poptopia, man, I had to have hit at least 50 hours before I realized I got to stop if I'm going to have any hope of playing anything else this year. And I'm avoiding the DLC for that exact reason. It's a wonderful game. It is on its face, one of the reasons I would say you should buy a Switch 2, in fact. The other game that I would say you should buy a Switch 2 for... Oh, by the way, this is another GOTY contender. I don't remember if I said that. If I did, I would say I'm going to edit it out. I might not. Full disclosure. My last game here is Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is probably going to shock nobody because anybody who's aware of how strong of a game this is knows why you should get this game. I am not a Donkey Kong fan. Once again, didn't grow up with Nintendo, right? So most of my Nintendo love comes from the Switch era. And Donkey Kong is not a game series I played a lot because the games that were out when I was young that might have interested me were not Donkey Kong. Like, we were getting like Barrel Blast, we were getting Donkey Konga. There wasn't really like a Donkey Kong Country around the early 2000s. So I never really played Donkey Kong Country. I never really played Donkey Kong 64. It was just never something that crossed my stream the way that Zelda did. So even when I wasn't playing Zelda growing up, I still knew what it was and I still thought it was really cool. I didn't have that for Donkey Kong, right? So for a Donkey Kong game to come out and catch my attention when I'm adult means it must be pretty good. And it is, because Mario Odyssey is an excellent game. I don't know if it's in my top 20 games, but it's certainly a game that I think of when I think of games that I love. So for the same team to go and take Donkey Kong and reinvent his gameplay structure and find so many different ways to make Donkey Kong work in 3 dimensions was really, really cool. It's got all the great stuff you love from Odyssey. It's got the personality, the character. It's got the good platforming. It's also got this cool destructibility thing going on where it just feels very raw. Everything is made to be your playground, which is a lot of fun. The Kong transformations are super duper cool, very different, and open up a lot of different ways to experiment and play in the sandbox. And collecting bananas is always so satisfying because of the crack and then the voice that's like, ooh, banana. I love that. I really do. I love that moment. Donkey Kong and Pauline are also a pretty good pair, ironically enough. I think that was the goal, and I really did like seeing them like as a working duo, as like a buddy cop kind of thing. I like that a lot, and I'm interested in seeing where that goes. Now, admittedly, the DLC was not very good, so I didn't buy it because as much as I want more Donkey Kong Bonanza, I'm not that desperate. But if we got like some legitimate DLC where it was like actual new stuff, I'm all in, buddy. So those are 5 Switch games that make me happy that I own a Switch 2. If you own a Switch 2 and you don't have one of these 5 games, you should give it a shot. If you don't own a Switch 2 and you're one of those people that's like, I don't think there's very many games on the Switch 2, that's just 5. Other games that I omitted from here, the Resident Evil Generations collection, which is 7, 8, and 9. 9 runs great on this thing. There's Persona 3 Reload. There's Metroid Prime 4 Beyond, which is admittedly probably the worst Metroid Prime game, but the worst Metroid Prime game is still better than most other games. It's also probably the prettiest game on Switch 2, I think. There's Hades 2, which is running super great. Although that one, I would say, that runs pretty well on Steam Deck. So if you have a Steam Deck, that's not really something that you need to concern yourself with. My point being, there's a lot of options for Switch 2. I'm just tired of being negative, and I'm tired of everybody wanting to pick on everything when it's like, no, let's just focus on Sony. Sony's the one that's doing bad. Nintendo, for all of its faults, is at least producing good quality work. What do you think? Am I wrong? Do you hate me? Do you hate that I like Nintendo? Do you hate that I have something positive to say about them despite my quantifier saying, no, I understand that a big company does not have my best interests in mind? I don't know how many times I can quantify it. I'm glad I'm taking a break from TikTok because, man, I'm sure I would still get tons of comments. About that. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below. We are on day... What day is this? I don't even know what day it is today. I'm going to be honest with you. It could be Tuesday and I wouldn't know. This is day 23 of 30 days in a row of filming. We are a week out from being complete, from being done. And I don't really know how to feel about that because I feel like I just started. And I feel like I'm finally honing in on my style, and I feel like I'm getting what I want out of this. But we still have some work to do. So, thanks for watching. Bye.